We are back, and my wallpaper finally synced that I changed it to. Unfortunately, it changed back to what my computer is upstairs, not what I changed it to down here. But
it changed.
It did.
Positive steps.
Sort of.
Steps.
I think I think there's 12 of them in the full program.
Yeah.
We are, I believe, at the ledge at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, Paul, there's other things that are changing too, and this one is more substantial, I guess, maybe depending on what side of the console wars you float in. Did you see this? How Microsoft is changing the Xbox metric?
It's they've run out of things to count. The numbers are so low.
I figured they could do it in percentage of PlayStation sales, but they didn't take my advice.
Wow.
I don't know why they don't like me.
1/10 of 1%.
Yeah.
So what are they doing exactly? This is terrible. I know.
Yeah. So for those who aren't familiar, Microsoft, as they typically do after the fiscal year, they decided to change up some of the metrics because why be consistent and make things easier for the rest of us? But this year on the chopping block or the molding block, whatever you want to call it, is Xbox. And what they are changing is they're no longer going to tell us Xbox Live monthly active users. They're still not going to tell us console sales. And basically what they're only going to tell us now is revenue from the software and services side of the Xbox brand, because they make the argument, and I kind of understand it, but not that I agree with it, is that the software and services is actually where the money is made in the Xbox, not from the hardware. And they will still, as a whole unit, tell us gaming revenue, which they've told us for previous years. That is, but it won't be in their slides. It'll be in their 10Q and K. Yep. But basically now we're only going to get, I believe, one Xbox related number every quarter, and it's going to be revenue from services. And
yeah, it's like they're moving forward with a cloud strategy before it's even ready. I will say, for whatever it's worth, like for some reason they've always talked up Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Live.
Xbox Live, but not Gold, just Live.
Yeah, and they've never given numbers for Game Pass. I don't know. That's been kind of odd to me. So yeah, I guess we could just say this till we're blue in the face. The hardware doesn't make any money.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I understand it. That I agree with it. But every time they sell a console, they're roughly, well, just for clarity's sake, making $0. There's potential, especially early on, they're making negative dollars every time a console is sold.
Oh, yeah.
But if they are going to make money, and if it's going to be profitable, it's going to come from the services. And that's their argument, and that's the only number they need to report, apparently.
I don't know what the financial rules are here. I mean, obviously, I don't think any laws actually changed. I think that over time, companies got more savvy about how little they could report and to see how what they got away with, and Microsoft has taken advantage of that. But what this kind of reminds me of, in this case, it was a law change. Like, drug makers can advertise directly to consumers now, and they're always like, "Here's a list of 117 side effects. It might work in this one scenario. Ask your doctor."
Yeah.
In the same way that I feel very strongly that we need to get rid of those ads, I think we need to get rid of this accounting baloney that allows Microsoft to do this. They should be forced as a public company to report hard numbers for everything. And I don't understand why that's not the law. That's crazy.
I was trying to see, did they list the overall gaming revenue? I thought they did. Gaming revenue in billions. So here's the thing. Overall gaming revenue is around, let's say, $2.5 billion. Although that really spikes in
you're talking about a quarter?
Per quarter.
Yeah.
And they do roughly what, like 25 billion, 20 billion, something like that in revenue every quarter.
Yep.
So Xbox revenue wise, pure revenue is only 10%. And so even with qualifying with what you just said, where they should have to report that, Microsoft could probably make a very real argument that console sales are not material to the overall health of the company, and therefore they don't have to report them.
Yeah. Are Windows license sales material to the revenues of the company? Because they don't report those either.
That might be. I think I think you can make those are usually around like $9 billion a quarter or something like that.
I hear what you're saying. So in other words, back in the day when Apple was reporting unit sales, they would not report unit sales of such things as Apple TV because they described it as a hobby or the business was too small to matter. It was part of something bigger. And fair enough. But there's a lot of data that they have that would be valuable to investors, you know, that would show growth over periods of time, you know. In other words, Microsoft could have a fairly small hardware business, but if the hardware grows when new versions comes up, hardware sales grow when new versions come out, or if the attach rate is particularly high on this platform, that's material value. If the overall software and services part of it is really big, that's still important. I mean, it's part of a story. And you can't tell the story unless you know all the parts of the story.
Yep.
You know, when they cherry pick like this, they're just cherry picking good news or the things that make it seem positive. That is in direct conflict with what shareholders and potential investors need. It's not about like I just want to know, I'm nosy. It's they actually need this stuff. Like this they are a publicly held company. You need to be educated about how the company is doing before you can decide whether to invest in the company.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And like I said, I don't believe that any law has changed. I don't think it's been deregulated. I literally think that over time, U.S. corporations have become vaguer and vaguer to see what they can get away with. And now they're all just doing it. They're not talking about anything.
Yep. They just report the bottom line number of net income, revenue.
I'm not a financial guy. This makes me crazy. It makes me nuts.
Yeah. I mean, I see your point that, okay, so maybe they don't put it in the earnings slides, but in their 10K and 10Q, they should have to report every item.
Yep. Exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a private company. This is not Bill Gates Co. It's, it is the largest corporation on earth right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if anybody's company, it's Bill Gates might still, is he still it, or is it Ballmer? I think Ballmer is. I think Ballmer is the largest shareholder of Microsoft, so it's.
Oh, that's probably true. I just meant as the company.
No, I know it. Anyways, so there you go, folks. If you want to know why Paul and I lose, I was going to say maybe he loses his hair. I still have a luscious lock up here. It's because Microsoft does this to us. It's their fault.
Yeah. Yep. There are companies that are worse, like Amazon's worse.
Oh, Amazon
has plunged, this industry into a dark age as far as financial reporting goes. But, Apple's followed suit, right? They stopped doing everyone will do this because why not? Everyone else there has been no repercussion.
Yep.
No shareholder has ever stood up and said, hey guys, it seems like shareholders would demand this.
Yep.
I hear nothing. So I don't, maybe I'm the outlier. I don't know.
Random hair just decided to
pop up like a little alfalfa thing.
Yeah, it happens. This also happened too, which I poorly cropped this image. Roku has a new...
they didn't do a very good job with the image themselves. So
no, it's like the devices back there.
You notice the 4 buttons on that thing on the bottom are empty. Like normally those have logos for services on them. Like I actually think this image is a mistake because they have a 1 and a 2 button down there that are user configurable, which is new. But those 4 buttons, it varies by remote, but they usually will have like Netflix, Hulu, whatever. I actually think that's a mistake. Or the buttons will vary depending on where you buy it, and maybe they're
or they change based on who's paying the most per
per batch or whatever.
But the device looks great. If you're not in the Apple ecosystem, this is probably the next best thing.
So here's what I'll say to this, because Roku is like it's the Windows of this world, right? It's kind of the low class entry. It's I hate the Apple remote. I hate it with a burning passion. I don't mind the Apple TV experience overall. In fact, the thing I'll say about it is it's extremely fast, and that's the thing that kills me. Like I want to use it, but the remote is so terrible.
You can use your phone.
Yeah, but who wants to use a phone with anyway. Roku has wonderful remotes, but the interface is a little slow. It has ads all over the place.
Oh, does it really?
It's terrible. And they do this stuff like, I think you can turn this off. I don't know that I found how, but like you actually take the time to like create a theme or to add a theme to it or something. And then you wake up one morning and there's like a Halloween theme will just have taken over the screen. It's like, guys, what? Like seriously, I set this to something.
Yeah.
So I find it a little annoying. They're not fixing anything I just described, except for possibly the performance. Because I guess the deal with that thing you're showing there, which is the Ultra version, the $99 one, they actually have a quad-core processor that promises some dramatic increase in speed, app launch as well as UI navigation. This is sorely needed on Roku, so it almost makes me want to spend the $100. Like I think the one I have is it could even be 3 years old. It might even be that old. It's like it is an Ultra, but it's like a it's like 4K. I think it does HDR, so I don't know how old it could be, but it's at least 2 years old. So normally when these things come around, I'm like, yeah, whatever, who cares? But this one, I was like, man, performance, like that is it worth $100 to get it be a little faster? Maybe. Anyway, we'll see. I haven't ordered it yet.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's some good Paul insight on set-top boxes.
I mean, if you could use the Roku remote with the Apple TV, I would never look back. Or if Apple would just ship a remote like that, not some little credit card thing that slides right down into the cushion.
Yeah, I don't. I will say I don't. The remote leaves a lot to be like. I like this remote for the Samsung TV a lot better than the Apple TV one.
That's right.
Because it has that. If they just got rid of that stinking little like swipe gesture area and just replaced it with a D-pad,
I know. Seriously,
that would be it. I would do it.
Yep. I'm sure it was because of video games or whatever, but my God.
And those really took off.
Yeah, just want to. Well, Apple Arcade's coming. I mean, never say never, but yeah.
Other things that are coming too. Thanks to Paul's help, I'm now downloading the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta, which, as Paul's pro tip to me was, you got to search for it. Don't type in COD. Yeah. You got to type in Modern Warfare, hit enter, and then you will find it.
Yeah, you got to hit the enter. That's the key. The little, it's the 3 lines, whatever that button is. So in other words, when you're on the search screen in the store on the Xbox, you can type in like Modern Warfare, and stuff will come up. There's like search results live, and sure enough, the 3 versions of the game are right there, and you're thinking, well, this must be everything. No, you have to hit that whatever that button is, enter or whatever. Then the full search results will show, and then you will see that there's a Modern Warfare open beta. That's what it's like 37.5 gigabytes, I think.
Not tiny.
Anyway, once you spend all that time downloading it, you'll be delighted to discover it doesn't do anything because the open beta is not technically available yet as we speak. Maybe
I think it's later today, though.
Yeah, it will be today. Yeah,
I think it's like 1 p.m. Eastern time. I want to say.
Oh, you know the time. Okay, so I thought I thought I was behind.
Oh no,
I got it this morning. I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to download this thing. So I downloaded it and waiting, and then it didn't work. So not yet. So 1 p.m. Good.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, whatever. Sometime today we'll be able to play this game.
Yeah. So, and then you can play it all weekend, and then it goes away until October or something or other.
I think they're going to have another beta weekend. I think. I thought there were more. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give it a go. I mean, for people who are unaware, what you can do is you can go into the Microsoft Store. Just do this on your Xbox. It'll make your life easier. Buy it there, or pre-order it, I should say. Then
I should say, by the way, up front, you have to pre-order it.
Yes.
For this to work. Right. And if you just download this, well, actually, maybe it wouldn't even appear. Who knows? Maybe you have to buy it so it appears. I'm not even sure. But you have to buy the game, pre-order the game.
And if you don't like it, you can just digitally cancel it. And you spent $0, got to try it out. And there you go.
That's a good point. That's true.
It's easier to do digitally.
What isn't?
I don't know. Well, I'm just because some people might try to buy it on Amazon and then you have to enter the code, I think. And that might be a bit more of a pain in the butt than just doing it all through the Microsoft Store.
And this is Xbox specific. If you get it on the PC, I'm sure there's a different process. And I bet you probably would need a code or something. I don't know how that works. So
yeah. So that is that. Yep. You got anything else for today, Mr. Paul?
Just real quick, because this is killing me. I, as many people know, this programming Windows series, I've really rifled through like 50 plus articles. And I desperately want to move on to the second half of this. I'm super interested in the .NET stuff. But I have a couple articles left that will kind of round out or finish off the first half of the story. The problem is, like, this is something I am super uninterested in writing about, which is the antitrust stuff. I have written a ton of stuff about it. And like just the part that everyone knows that Microsoft was sued by the U.S. government. They went to court. They lost. They were going to be broken up. And then most of it was kind of taken down again, right? I'm not even talking about that. Before that, the FTC went after Microsoft in 1990 or 1989 or whatever it was. And that investigation lasted for several years. They eventually deadlocked and decided not to release, seek charges 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
It was handed off to the U.S. Justice Department. There was another few years of investigation. The Justice Department was going to bring antitrust charges against Microsoft, and they settled. They agreed to a consent decree where they would not integrate stuff into Windows, which of course they violated, and that's the reason the other thing happened. Just that story is like 2,500 words or whatever. It's huge. And then I have to go to the other stuff. And then I also figured out that there's two other things I have to put in there about it's like the end of the era stuff about personnel and people changing, leaving the company. Bill Gates stopped being CEO.
Yeah.
Nathan Myhrvold left, Todd Nielsen, a bunch of executives. And then the tool stuff, I think, did I already say that? The Visual Studio stuff, like the last version of the classic. So I actually have like, what is that, 7 articles? 6, 7? I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, I just don't want to write any of it. So I sit here and I like struggle with it. And I'm like, I just want to move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was longer than I intended. I apologize, but I'm working on it, working through it. I think would be the way to say it. I just want to put this thing to bed, but I thought I was almost done, but I'm not.
You ready for my parting question that is going to come so far out of left field? It might have actually circled the earth and is now in right field. Okay.
Yep.
If anybody has any opinions on furnace and air conditioning brands, I'm in the market. So, we're looking. We got some quotes today. One of them is from Amana, and the other one is American Standard, which is also the same as Train. So, did I not? I warned you.
That was not. I believe the thing that's in my basement is so old it was referred to as an iron pig back in the day. I think it just chugs away, polluting the atmosphere.
The old man inside pumping the gallows.
Yeah, exactly right. The mice on either end of that little train thing going up and down.
Yep. So there you go, folks. That wraps it up for today, which means tomorrow is Friday, thank goodness. And that means we're doing this at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find that on Thurrott.com. You can follow us on the YouTube channel, or you can do none of the above and miss the show. You do you. Wow. That was a little bitter, maybe.
A little harsh.